Hello and thanks for joining us for our late night newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story tonight, Korea's minor opposition People's Party has slammed the nation's ruling and main opposition parties for failing to pass two contentious bills despite previously agreeing to. Head of the party, Incheon Soo, who recently left the newly renamed Minju Party, accused it and the ruling Saenuri Party on Saturday of playing politics at the expense of the people's needs. Both parties had agreed to hold a full floor vote on two bills on Friday, one aimed at revitalising small and medium-sized businesses and the other to improve human rights in North Korea. But the Minju Party boycotted the session at the 11th hour, saying it wanted the bills linked to another bill to redraw Korea's electoral map. In a boost for the ruling party, Incheon Soo said the North Korean human rights bill should be passed without being linked to anything else. Security has been stepped up at Korea's biggest airport after the discovery of a fake bomb and a written threat. Dozens of police officers are working to track down those responsible, but say the poorly made hoax is much more likely to be the work of a prankster or a disgruntled individual rather than an actual terror group. Jim Young-gil with the details.
Police say they found a warning message written in Arabic inside a box discovered the previous day at Incheon International Airport. Officers say the message written on a small piece of paper reads, "This is the last warning to you. God will punish." The message had been printed and police say the message contained grammatical mistakes, suggesting it may have been translated online or typed by someone with limited Arabic skills. The latest development comes a day after a box suspected to contain an explosive device was discovered in a men's bathroom at the airport. However, once opened, officers found two butane canisters taped to a bottle of mineral water. As well as the message, the box contained guitar strings, electric cords, batteries, and some pieces of vegetables. Police say that while they are not completely ruling out the possibility of it being linked to an Islamic terror group, the crudeness of the package and the poorly written note makes them believe the chances are very slim. Korean officials have been on guard since the group that calls itself Islamic State listed South Korea as a potential target in a recent edition of its magazine and a subsequent propaganda video. Officials say a special investigation team of 50 detectives are scouring CCTV footage inside Incheon International Airport as they attempt to track down the person or persons responsible. Kim Young-gil, Arirang News.
Now, as a follow-up to that report, Korea's Prime Minister is calling on airport authorities to tighten border security following the terror alert there and the recent illegal entries by some foreigners. Visiting Incheon International Airport on Saturday, Hwang Kyo-an said the level of security is directly linked to the airport's competitiveness. Incheon International Airport has come under fire for loose security and lax management after it emerged two Chinese and one Vietnamese national were able to sneak into the country illegally. Airport officials have vowed to tighten controls at checkpoints by installing high-tech security equipment and better supervising security operations. China has told North Korea that it won't protect the regime at the United Nations if it continues to launch provocations. The warning came Saturday in an editorial published by China's ruling Communist Party. The move comes as speculation mounts North Korea is preparing to test a long-range ballistic missile pretty soon after its recent nuclear test. China's state-run Global Times newspaper slammed Pyongyang for pursuing nuclear and missile ambitions, saying the North should not expect Beijing to protect it through the UN if it's driven into a corner. It added that if North Korea moves toward the limit step by step, China will not manage the situation. UN Security Council resolutions ban North Korea from conducting a long-range rocket launch with ballistic missile technology. Experts say North Korea doesn't seem overly concerned with the latest warning from China, nor the pressure from the US and its allies. South Korean and US Marines have held their joint winter training to enhance combined operations and strengthen their alliance. Military officials say the training was held at an undisclosed location on Thursday, but was only made public on Saturday for certain security reasons. The training was held In the bitter winter cold and at an altitude of 1,000 meters, the troops formed joint teams to monitor enemy movements and to take out enemy targets. The annual winter training exercise comes amid heightened tension following North Korea's recent nuclear test. The race to develop a vaccine to the Zika virus is gathering momentum as the outbreak shows no sign of slowing down. The mosquito-borne virus is now present in 23 countries and territories in the Americas alone. Brazil has reported 3,700 cases of the devastating birth defect called microcephaly that is strongly suspected to be related to the Zika virus. The World Health Organization is scheduled to convene an emergency meeting on this outbreak on Monday. Also, in response to the growing concerns here in Korea, the nation's health ministry on Friday advised pregnant women against travelling to Central and South America. It also required doctors to immediately report suspected cases. And with the outbreak casting a real dark cloud over the 2016 Rio Olympics, the IOC has moved to assure national sports teams that the city will be safe. The IOC's medical commissioner is advising visitors to protect themselves against mosquitoes while in Brazil. A man has been killed in a helicopter crash in southwestern Korea. Firefighters say the chopper, rented by Jeollabuk-do province for fighting forest fires, crashed shortly before 3 p.m. Korea time near Gumsan Temple in Gimjae. Officials say the deceased was the 61-year-old pilot. He was the only person on board the helicopter. Investigations have begun to find out what caused the crash, but it was reported to be foggy at the time of the accident. Korea's largest automaker, Hyundai Motor, achieved record sales last year in the so-called BRIMs market of Brazil, Russia, India and Mexico. The Korean Automobile Association says Hyundai Motor sold slightly over 868,000 cars in the 4 countries in 2015. That's a 3.3% increase from the previous year. Hyundai sold more than half of that total, 476,000 in India. It sold 204,000 cars in Brazil, 161,000 in Russia and 26,000 in Mexico. Now, Hyundai Motor's feat is all the more impressive, considering total auto sales in the region were down almost 14% on year in 2015. Korean researchers have made a huge stride in 3D hologram technology. The development could have implications in various technologies and industries where visual imagery is absolutely crucial. EG1 has more.
This is a hologram of a Rubik's Cube. Unlike most holograms, it can be viewed from all directions. Korea's Electronics and Telecommunications Research Institute developed the world's first hologram display technology that shows a three-dimensional color image in 360 degrees.
This is possible due to diffraction of light waves. A spatial light modulator creates the diffraction, and a hologram is visible when red, blue and green lasers are shot onto the modulator.
As the 3 colors are projected on the tabletop holographic display from all directions, images are created and the color 3D hologram is formed. This is a major advancement as the hologram technologies of the U.S. and Japan only allow holograms to be seen within an angle of 20 degrees. Researchers are looking to apply the new 3D hologram technology into various industries.
This technology may be used in education, medical industries, museums, and anywhere that uses 3D footage. It will be very helpful for many of these industries.
Researchers have plans to improve the quality of footage and adapt the technology so the size of the holograms can be changed. Their goal is to commercialize their unique hologram generator by 2021. 이지원, Arirang News.
Now, a new study shows that light emitted by smartphones and other electronic devices can disturb your ability to get a good night's sleep and could actually even eventually lead to weight gain. Now, Kim Ji-yeon explains why.
Between neon signs and smartphones, people today, especially those in big cities, are constantly exposed to artificial light. And experts say this plays a big role in preventing a healthy life. A study published in Switzerland-based Frontiers in Public Health journal revealed wavelengths of light at the blue-green end of the spectrum can stop the sleep hormone melatonin from being produced, which makes it harder for people to fall asleep and limits deep sleep. And when that happens, levels of the stress hormone cortisol increase and affect the appetite-regulating hormone leptin, which is why it's common for a stressful person to seek comfort in sweets that are high in calories.
In a stressful situation, the body, in particular the brain, needs an energy source to function, and it mainly draws energy from food with sweet flavors such as carbohydrates.
Too much exposure to light also disturbs the function of the body's brown fat to burn calories, leading to weight gain, and it's why experts emphasize that getting a good night's sleep can help the diet. If one can't just avoid using their smartphones before going to bed, it may be useful to download apps that alter the color of the display and remove blue light in the evenings. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, finally, before we go, we're going to leave you with a brief look at the weather here in Korea, and we have another cold night in store. The overnight low in Seoul is going to dip to -9 degrees Celsius if you head out. Wrap up nice and warm. Most of the country will be under bright sunny skies on Sunday, but it is going to feel colder than today. The high is only going to top out at -1 degree Celsius in the South Korean capital. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, those are the stories we have for you at this hour. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out our website, arirang.com/news. And we also have a smartphone application. Just search for Arirang TV in the usual places. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.